things I'm often quoted as saying is that film school teaches you how to make a movie, but who's going to teach you how to get a movie made?
Hmm.
So
That's
those are two
great.
different things. And it is my opinion, based on experience, that film schools literally, like you just alluded to, they don't want you to know the stuff that I teach people because they're going to scare these guys away. They're going to scare them away. So what happens is these people go out and spend 30, 40, 50, whatever $1,000 on film school,
A
which is
year. No, no.
great.
A
I'm not,
year. A year. A
yeah, I
year.
hear. Yeah. So I'm not taking that away in terms of the value from an artistic, creative perspective.
Hmm.
But then they graduate, and they come knocking on my door, and they're like, dude, what do I do? Like, I don't even know step one. I don't even know where to start. And so that's actually one of the reasons why initially I created the development program, is because it occurred to me that these are really talented people that have just spent all this money and they don't even know step one. They need to be educated. Somebody has to pick up where film school left off and say, look, let me show you how this works. Let me at least, like you said, the basics. Let me at least explain it to you so that you understand the basic concepts of financing, equity, debt, tax credit financing, distribution, casting, every element, legal, like
Post
really post production,
deliverables. Yep.
budgeting, scheduling, all of this stuff that they just don't have. They don't see it in relationship at least to actually going out and raising money and putting funds together. So I think it's a big void. It's been great for me in the sense that I've been able to build a whole branch of my company based on educating people that fit into that category, and they love it. They love it, but that's the point. If they don't love it, I don't want them there.
No, no, absolutely. Well, because look, it's
Through a course, I want them to be excited. I have this one couple I talk to. I do this on Skype because most of
mhm.
these people don't live. And literally every Monday, we can't wait to sit in front of our computers and talk to each other because we just know that for an hour and a half we're going to have a lot of fun while they're learning how to do this. And they're so excited and animated, and it just gives me such joy to be able to work with them. And that's what the people I want to invest my time and energy into.
Right. No, without question. And but the thing is, and that's where a lot of filmmakers get caught up in, is I've said this a lot of times. Hollywood's really good at selling the sizzle, not so much the steak, but the sizzle. Man, they're the best in the world at the sizzle. And film schools, they sell the sexy part of this process. It's this. It's
Yeah,
sexy to work with the
it's alluring,
actors.
very alluring.
Oh, to work with the actors, to play with the camera and the lenses and editing and all that. It's really sexy to kind of be the creative part. But when you're done with that product, it's really sexy to bake. Like, oh, like all those baking shows. Like, oh, look at these cool things I'm making. It's all great. Like, look at this cake that, explodes and does all this stuff. It's fantastic. Now, how are you going to make a business out of
Yeah,
that product?
yeah,
And that's the thing
yeah.
that nobody talks about because that's not the sexy part. I love that part. I think it is the sexy part. It's more exciting. It's actually one of the most exciting part. Marketing and the business side excites me a lot. Being a film
Yeah,
entrepreneur. So I really do
right.
love that part of it. But
Yeah,
most filmmakers just want to sit back, go to the red carpet, sign the
yeah.
autographs, hang
Yep.
out with the actors,
That's cool.
and play the role But then play the role at a $3,000 budget. Don't play the role at a $3 million budget.
Your own money. Yeah, don't come to us. Yeah, and I do. I feel that same way. Like so because I am that. Like I live that. I love it. I love the development process. I love watching people the light go on and go, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, that's such great information. I feel so good because what happens is by the time we finish, my job with first and second time filmmakers is yes, education, but empowerment. Like I want them to be able to go out into that world and have those meetings and sit in front of those people and really have a good solid foundation and a confidence about them, an air of confidence about them that they can sit down and if they happen to meet somebody on a subway or a restaurant and they spark up a conversation about they're making a movie and the woman happens to be an investor and they're curious, I want them to be able to sit there and hold their own and have a conversation. They may get to a point where they go, you know what? I better shut my mouth and have Franco talk to these people because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want them to be able to be empowered, to be able to be confident enough to be able to initiate. Because when you're talking to investors, people, it's a different language. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what I tell people. People say to me all the time, what's the number one thing that filmmakers do wrong when it comes to raising money? And I always say, and I've said it, you've heard me say it a million times, they go out too soon. They're not ready. They're not prepared. They're not in the position to be talking about that. And part of the reason is because they're pitching story to money people. It doesn't compute. They're pitching story. Story's critical. It's important. But an investor doesn't know what you're talking about, goes right over their head, and they're going to walk away and go, what a freaking nut job. That guy asked me for $2 million, and I got nothing. I got a story.
Isn't it an equivalent of me going to the bank and going, I want a small business loan and I'm going to open up a bakery, and all I talk about is the ingredients, the fondant, the how it's layered, how many, the cupcakes and how beautiful. That's all I talk about is the product. I have no understanding about how I'm going to make money with this, but that's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. You can't talk story or creative to business people. It doesn't work that way.
And in what other business in the world is that okay? Why is it okay for us? Like that's the part that bothers me. I think I might have told you this before, but a guy come up to me after one of my seminars, and he says to me, "I'm so frustrated." He says, "I've had 5 investors. I've pitched my movie to 5 investors, and every one of them has shut me down." He says, "What am I doing wrong?" And the first thing I said was, "You had 5 investors, really?" Because no, you didn't. You might have had 1 or maybe 2, but you didn't have 5. So let's start there. All right? Because there's a lot of this going on out there. And 3 of those are BS. All right? So you didn't have 5. If that makes you feel any better, you didn't lose. But if you even had 1, like I said, what are you saying? Like, if 5 people walked away and said, no, what are you saying? Because maybe something you're saying is making them say no. And I said, give me your elevator pitch. He pitched the story. I said, sounds great. Now what? He was like, well, that's it. And I'm like, that's it? Like, that's it?
All right.
Yeah. And how much you need? 2.5 million. Oh, really? Okay. That's cool. So you have, I said, so do me a favor. And I love playing this with people. I said, so do me a favor. I said, and I gave him my business card. I said, can you email me? He goes, yeah. I said, no, not your script. I don't want your script. I said, I want you to email me your budget, the $2.5 million budget. And the guy's face just dropped. And I said, what's the matter? He says, oh, I don't have a budget. I said, you're already spoken to 5 investors asking for $2.5 million, and you don't even have a. You don't even know if it actually is $2.5 million. Like,
or a schedule, or a cast, nothing,
or a proposal, or anything. He's literally pitching story to money people, and it doesn't compute. It's a disconnect. So what I do is I spend time educating people on how to speak to investors, not just where to find them, how to find them, and what to do with them, but what to say to them. Or more importantly, what not to say to them. And that way, whether I'm in the room or not, because more often than not I am to help support them, they can keep up. Like they're in it. They're not sitting all in the corner going, I hope Franco closes this guy. You know what I mean? They're like, this is my movie, man, and I'm here to sell it, And I'm empowered because I know I'm ready. Hit me with the questions. I've got the answers. And if I don't, this guy will help me. That's what you want to do. And that's why I'm saying partner with, with people who do have that base of experience, and don't try to go it alone.